the AI is. Today, we will be, together with the speakers that are with me, present some services and tools from different AI projects that will be useful for DIHs and also to speed up the use of the AI in the local ecosystems. So just 1 second. Just some housekeeping rules. This webinar will be recorded. We will be using this webinar for dissemination purposes and also to report to the European Commission the work that has been done in the projects that you can see in the slides, like bonds apps, stairways, and prepay, that count with the participation of Funding Box. As you will have noticed, all the participants are automatically muted, and you are required to use your real names and surnames. So please don't turn your camera on and don't unmute yourself. We will have a questions and answer session after all the presentations, so I really encourage you to use the chat. Our colleague Anna will be reading the questions out loud. So if you have any questions for any of the speakers or myself, please write it in the chat. Okay, and with this, we have a very nice agenda today. We will start with the presentation of the AI on-demand platform for DIHs, a little bit what has been the iteration across the years since the AI for EU project, where the AI on-demand platform was firstly created with some functionalities, and now with the work of the ICT 49 projects that are here today, such as bonds apps, stairway. We also had in a previous session AI plan for EU. Will be presenting us, how the services and resources that they are now organizing and creating will be included in the AI on-demand platform. As you know, the European Commission aims at having the AI on-demand platform as the main resources for getting tools and expertise for the adoption of AI, as this is one of the breakthrough technologies that there's a high potential for the SMEs to use it. But of course, in this webinar, we decided to present it to the DIHs, as you are at the very core of the implementation of the digital technologies and also to support the SMEs. So it is important that the DIHs are aware of what are the resources that are available for the adoption of AI, and of course, support their SMEs in the uptake of the technologies. And that's why, after the presentation of Suzanne, where she will also explain some of the results of a previous study they did on the role of DIHs, we will have the presentation of Stairway Matchmaking Tool by Michele Lombardi, also the HPC resources for DIHs and tips on how to connect by Elisa Caue from EGI. Also the bonsais marketplace and how can DIHs benefit from it. The presentation will be done by Miguel de Prado from Bonsais Community Association. And also we will have 2 examples of SMEs that have been testing the resources that have been put in place by Stairway and bonds apps, that are Gil Machado and Carlos González, that will be sharing with us how they did use the resources and how the company participated in the different opportunities that were open in the project. And you can see here the experts that are with me today. I will be introducing them before each of their presentations, and I hope you take the opportunity to ask them a lot of questions, because they are really experts in the field, and they can, of course, give you a good overview on how the DIHs can make use of the different resources available. And as I was already mentioned, at the end of the day, knowledge is power. So it is important that also the DIHs are updated with the resources, opportunities that are created in the framework of European projects. I think European projects are one of the main producers of innovation. So it's important that either DIHs are participating, benefiting, also being partners of the different projects, but of course also to being updated and receiving information on how they can make use of the resources and tools that are created. And with this, I wanted also to draw your attention to an activity that Funding Box is currently leading in the project Prepay, which is a project that is working to develop, the future of the AI on demand platform. So we are currently running a consultation among digital innovation hubs and European digital innovation hubs to know what are your needs, the type of information you would like to find in the future AI on demand platform. And you can see in this QR code, you will be redirected to a page to subscribe and receive further information. Okay, we really want to have the opinion of the digital innovation hubs. Is very important also for the European Commission to know what is the main features that you would like to find them there in the AI on demand platform. And of course, there are several options as being informed about funding opportunities, being informed about best practices, networking, on also pathways on how to support your clients and SMEs and examples. So your say is very important to us. So please contribute to this survey, and also you are encouraged to get in contact with me if you want a one-on-one session to know more about this project and contribute. We are also looking for DIHs that would like, to have a small sentence and be featured in the report that we are preparing to be submitted to the Commission in summer. So also, if you are experienced using some of the tools of the AI on demand platform and will be like to be featured in the report, let us know. And with this, I just wanted to finalize a little bit my intro, explaining you that besides the opportunity that I just introduced on Prepay, we are participating as company, as Funding Box, in many projects where DIHs, have a core role, not only in getting funding, but also, having a role in testing different solutions, in getting in contact with other DIHs, in presenting, their activities in working groups or sessions for peer learning. So I really encourage you, to be involved in some of the activities we are organizing. We are also looking for DIHs to organize events in their regions to, to present different solutions that are now being developed in the manufacturing industry, but many, many more. Okay, so you can get in touch with me and I will be giving you more information. I take this opportunity to invite you to an event that the Bowie project is organizing in Brussels, where we are going to present, the methodology for DIHs collaboration with the DIHs that participated in this project and sharing their experiences in collaborating. And of course, you don't have to miss the last webinar, the last series of webinar that we are going to organize on the 18th of April, where we are going to tackle the topic of funding opportunities. So this is it from my side. Now, let me stop sharing my screen and I will give the floor to Suzanne Kurer. She is a project lead in AT Digital, and Suzanne has an MBA in Intra and Entrepreneurship, and also has a long career in the management of various projects. And before starting EU consulting with the ambition of closing the innovation gap, she served Telecom Austria as the international liaison manager for the collaborative research. She has been very active in all the projects that are related to the AI on demand platform organization, and has a very good knowledge on how this ecosystem works. So she will be introducing us to the AI ecosystem in Europe, and then also presenting some of the results of their working group. So Suzanne, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maria, for the kind introduction. I would like to a little bit to set the scene, because we are talking about the AI on Demand platform, and all the upcoming presentations then will present what could be contributed, what they have done. So I would like to give a short introduction on where we are and where we are going and what is therein for the digital innovation hubs. So the first project dealing with the AI on Demand platform started with a proposal in 2018. The project started in 2019 and ended in 2021, where then kindly the ICT 49 projects, and some of them are here today, have taken over in supporting the platform until the new project then was started. So what was the idea? The idea was to bring together with different services like open calls, case studies, providing new tools, new insights to the community, bringing together research and innovation, to giving the possibility to the community to make an exchange, to bring the whole AI development further. So you can see this. I know that this picture is very crowded, but just to give you an idea how the situation was at the end of 2021 with all the projects that all were running around, and to show you how many organizations, projects, whatever, dealt with with AI in the whole AI landscape. And you have here showing it, the ICT 49 projects. We had the AI4U. We had many calls where projects were working already on DIHs. That's why also for the AI on Demand platform, the DIHs were an important user group. So going now to the current situation, we have already, we have still some ongoing H2020 projects. We have now the whole projects coming from Horizon Europe, and one of them is AI for Europe. And then you see on the other side for the Digital Europe, you see that there will be the testing and experimental facilities, the digital transformation accelerator that will supporting the European Digital Innovation Hubs. You will have the digital innovation hubs. So you see the landscape is getting bigger, not smaller. And this just for the digital innovation hubs. So we have the European digital innovation hubs. We have the AI for Europe, which is in the AI data robotics, and there will be also, which is now under evaluation from the Commission and supposed to be launched in 2024, the AI on Demand platform in the Digital Europe program. So what have we already done in AI4U in the previous project for the DIH offering? First of all, we have we had a DIH expert group putting together experts in DIH projects, or experts already, many of them working with DIHs, to understand what do DIH really need from the AI on Demand platform. You can see here some examples where they said, okay, because we have defined 5 categories of support that the AI on Demand platform could give to the DIHs, which is technical support, ecosystem support, skills, business support, and then there's also the AI ethics and legal support. The point here was we aligned the categories mostly to the 4 categories that you have in the European Digital Innovation Hubs. So these are some of the examples that came out from the DIH expert group. What is requested by the DIHs: give us a collaborative space where we can have the results, the tools, solution, connect with the ecosystem. Provide us a possibility to get skills and trainings. Give us the possibility to have data services. Very much was the focus also, which the DIHs would need done to have ethical guidelines regarding AI, because they need it for their customers. They asked for use cases. It was important, trust and quality. Clearly it was important, and Maria was also mentioning it, financial support that comes to the open calls. They also wanted to have a matchmaking. They wanted to have informative events like workshops, web cafes, whatever it is, and really to increase the exposure of the DIHs. So what is currently there? I say currently because we are working on it. When you open the AI on Demand platform, you scroll down, There's the possibility to click on Are you a DIH, but you can do the same thing also when you go to, you've seen in the previous slide on the, when you scroll down in the About, you have then also the DIHs. So when you click on that one, it's opening up, showing you that there are 5 key areas, the 5 that I have already shown to you. You can then click on the Discover More to see the space, and you will also be redirected and can see the open calls. So let's click on the Discover More. And then the following page is opening, giving you the possibility to check for assets, case studies, education, events, news, open calls, whatever it is. And then you have also the possibility under Contribute to each of these sections to contribute. What is the point? This is what is currently there, but we are now working in the AI for Europe project, which is the one that is currently running in Horizon Europe and, until 2025. And then also we will work together with the DEP platform that is then coming for the major targeting SMEs, public bodies, and also the DIHs. So what is DI on demand? So it should be the knowledge and the services for the whole AI community. So we have a new concept now. The new concept is having the resources, but having APIs to connect to other initiatives, to other platforms, to providing here the access. So we would really like with the platform then to showcase the state of the art and very much pointing on the trustworthiness of the resources, of the ethical design of the tools, and to an ecosystem of trust. So there will be, which is already there, but it is currently improving also with a slightly new development of the architecture, testing and experimenting with AI. These will be services that can be offered through the platform. There is the support to the SMEs, and you can see here, you will see from the projects presenting today also, they have already, the ICT 49, done a lot in supporting here through the open calls, SMEs, having a lot of submission winning projects and putting all these resources as services on the platform. And 2 of them will also present today what is there. So what is the idea? The AI on demand platform now in this new structure will focus on the 5 categories of service we are having, but we will extend it with experimentation, information success stories. We will also work on a matchmaking tool, give you access to experts. We will include the results from the ICT 49 projects like DIH for AI, which has also developed a methodology for maturity, digital maturity, and all these, the stairway. They have developed a matchmaking tool that will be presented after me. So very much the focus on AI, trustworthiness, fairness, and data. And what we are also currently doing, and this we are doing in the context of the pre-pipe project, what Maria has already presented to you, a train-the-trainer program for the DIH, so that we can give you the possibility to easily find what you need for your clients, because you are supporting the SMEs, you are supporting maybe industry, also public authorities, so that you can easily find what you need for your clients. So this is my final slide. So the story is, we are currently in 2022, the AI for Europe project started mid-2022 and is going until 2025. So in this period, we will develop the new platform. It will be not finished by 2025, but we will have a first version already by the mid of this year, and currently then improving all whatever is needed. And then collaborating together with the DEP AI on demand platform, which is supposed most probably to start beginning next year, and together developing something that is sustainable. I'm currently working in the AI for Europe project, also together with the partners, on a sustainability model, on a governance model, to really bring it to something that is sustainable and goes beyond the end of the project and serve the community. Thank you. This is all from my side.
Thank you, Suzanne. So if you have any question for Suzanne on how the future of the AI on demander will look like, please don't hesitate to write it in the chat. So now we are moving to the next speaker, that is Michele Lombardi. He's assistant professor at the University of Bologna and researcher on optimization methods based on constraint programming, and also focus on the resource allocation and scheduling problems, in particular with application in embedded system design. He will be presenting us the stairway matchmaking platform and how the DIHs can benefit from it. So Michele, the floor is yours.
So thanks. Give me a second to share a screen. Okay, you should be seeing the presentation. So thanks, I'll go on and present some of the projects that were mentioned in the previous presentation, in particular Stairway, whose aim is to simplify engagement for low-tech companies to the AI on-demand platform. So the idea is that the main idea of Stairway is to look at the way you start from a problem and you try to deliver an AI solution from a simplified point of view. So basically you start with some kind of problem that you want to solve. The first thing that you need to do is actually craft a solution from an algorithmic point of view. So in this phase, you need to define how you want to formulate your problem from a mathematical perspective, for example, how you want to decompose it, which techniques you want to apply, which tools you want to apply. And these are all pretty complex techniques that, unless you have a fairly good experience in AI, you're not prepared to address. So the main question here for a low-tech company is actually, who can help me in the definition of an AI solution? Once you have an AI solution, you have a second problem. You need to scale it up. You need to deploy that on some kind of infrastructure. So between the prototype, let's say, the proof of concept and the actual deployment, you also need to answer multiple questions, some of which are which hardware you are to consider and which configuration. So what's the plan in Stairway? So we aim to provide support to answer this question by delivering two services. One is called horizontal matchmaking and targets this step of the process, and the other is called vertical matchmaking and targets the second stage. So in horizontal matchmaking, you start with the problem description, and what you want to find is typically experts that can help you, but also possibly tools or courses or other assets. Right now, our focus is on experts, but the system you will see is capable of handling other types of resources as well. Vertical matchmaking tool, instead, you do have an algorithm. You have already crafted an algorithm or someone did it for you, and you want to tweak its performance or find the best hardware to deploy it, and you're interested in finding an answer to this kind of question. So the project is still ongoing. There are still several months until the conclusion, but we have substantial results and several prototypes are already available. So I'll try to explain informally how the main technique works, with an emphasis on horizontal matchmaking, because that's the part of the project that I know best. Okay, so everything starts with a problem description, which we call a query. And this comes in the textual form, so natural language. This comes from this example in particular is a success story of the approach. It comes from one of our open calls. It has been modified so as to hide information that was originally present in the use case, but it is a simplified form, so it's realistic enough. The goal in this case is inspecting some parts of buildings by using drones. The first thing that happens is that we use natural language processing technologies, so AI techniques, to process this text and assess it in terms of how much it is close to a fixed set of terms. For example, we might evaluate how close it is to topics of computer vision or autonomous vehicles, automated reasoning, knowledge representation, and so on and so forth. And basically, you get an alignment score for each of those. Then behind the scenes, we're actually doing the same for the assets that we're going to index. So those could be AI experts, those are probably the most important ones for low AI companies, but also software tools or courses or other stuff. In any case, we start from a description and we map it into a bunch of relevant scores with respect to a fixed set of terms. Then we run a second algorithm. This time it's a ranking with constraints algorithm, which first needs to check the alignment between these score representations that we have for both the query and the assets. So in this case, for example, we have an expert that knows a lot about computer vision, And the use case is also about computer vision. So we have a good alignment here. The alignment is less strong in terms of autonomous vehicles and so on and so forth. Based on this information, we rank the experts, and we can also provide some explanations. So we know, for example, that a certain expert has been chosen because he knew about computer vision autonomous vehicles. The second expert was chosen because she knew about more autonomous vehicles and then machine learning, and so on and so forth. So you also get some rationale for the choices that are presented to you. So we are building actually a multimodal graphical user interface. There's going to be a chatbot. Here it is displayed. This is just a mock-up, so it's displayed on the left side of the window. And the chatbot will help you in crafting your use case description so that it makes sense. So for example, it will make sure that you don't forget about specifying your objectives or critical constraints or data availability. But you also have a more conventional graphical user interface where you can tweak your query. And the two are synchronized, going to be synchronized. So whenever you make an update here, maybe the chatbot will ask you another question in order to refine a little bit your query. And of course, you're going to have your list of assets. So currently, this is work in progress. What we have is we have a prototype of the chatbot. It's already working. We have a prototype of the conventional graphical user interface. It's very ugly, but it is also very working. And the backend is fully functional. So we are already capable of answering the queries and ranking AI resources. We are testing the system through the open cores, which are run by Funding Box. So the systems are not yet completely open because they're work in progress, but they are being used within the open cores. And we're working on graphical user interface improvement, as you see here. And the current presentation is not particularly nice to use. We're also introducing a fairness mechanism in order to make sure that resources or queries or topics are not too much under or overrepresented. So to have a little bit of balance. The vertical matchmaking system is the second component which is provided by Stairway. I'll cover this very briefly because this is not where my expertise lies. So it features two main subcomponents. So one is a benchmarking tool, and this allows to take your algorithm and run it under a variety of conditions and then inspect and analyze the results. And then there's a second tool which, based on the benchmarking results, can learn how the algorithm performance and its resource usage depend on some parameter choices, and then it can automatically tweak the parameters or choose a hardware architecture so that your algorithm runs within a certain performance envelope, for example. This tool is actually available and well developed, and it's also Bonsai is a partner in our project. BCA, sorry, is a partner in our project, and Miguel is going to give a presentation about the marketplace. But this tool is also connected to that marketplace. And for this one, we have a prototype. It's working on a limited subset of algorithms right now, and we're working on the integration between these two. Final step, of course, as I mentioned before, all these systems are meant to be integrated in the AI on-demand platform, and this is also the direction in which we're going. In particular, we need to, we're working on dumps from the platform right now, and we need to make the connection live. Let's say we need to update it regularly. And that's it. Thanks for the attention. I don't know if there's question time right now, or if there will be time just at the end.
Yes, we will go through the questions at the end.
Okay, very good.
So thank you, Michele. If you have any question related to the use of the matchmaking tool of Stairway, please don't hesitate to ask these questions. And we are now moving to our next speaker, Elisa Kawe, that will be presenting us the HPC resources for DIHs and tips on how to connect. Elisa is a senior strategy and innovation officer at AG Foundation, and is a specialist working in the research industry in R&D projects, and also has been working in innovation management and business development. So Elisa, the floor is yours.
Okay, I hope you see my screen, right?
We can see it, yes.
Okay, So thank you very much for inviting us to this webinar. I would like to start with a short description of EDI, a little bit of context. EDI is a not-for-profit organization that is coordinating the federated cloud in Europe for research. In this sense, we deliver different solutions for advanced computing and data analytics for research and innovation. And we have 28 members in Europe, in 22 countries. And we are offering services to not only research, also to the members of our federation to be able to facilitate the services that they offer to the research communities. And also we are open to collaborate with companies. With these companies, we have established a digital innovation hub that is, let's say, like the new mechanism for facilitating this engagement with the private sector. But the type of activities that we do are quite similar to those that we offer for research. So what is the point on EDI Foundation? So we play the role of a negotiator between the users of different computing services and the federated members that are the providers. So we collected the instance requirements from the user's perspective and negotiate also the conditions from the different providers that we have. All of these are collected in the service level agreement and professional level agreements. And also we run regular satisfaction reviews with the customers, and also service delivery reports with our federation members in order to ensure the quality of the service to both sides. These are some of the numbers of the EDI when working with different research communities and private sector in the past. And as you can see, we have been facilitating many hours of cloud and HPC and HTC computing hours. And so how to engage with HPC and cloud services and providers? So as I explained, we have created the AI DIH. And the AI DIH is this virtual space for test solutions before investing, with the main objective of promote the digitization and increase competitiveness and impact of companies. And the different services of the DIH are also aligned with this technical access for the test before you invest, providing also some skills and training, the networking and community building, and support for finding funds. And we are open for working with companies that are interested on using infrastructure as customers. And in this sense, there could be multiple AI-related companies that will require a huge amount of computing resources. So we can offer this type of compute data tools and applications, and well, also some other added value services that could be provided. And also, we are open to work with those entities that would like to become providers to offer services to others. And we have this type of opportunities to join EDI DIHs. And what about Stairway? We are partners of Stairway, and Stairway, what we have done is to facilitate the inclusion of HPC and cloud providers in the catalog, because we needed a validated catalog of providers. So as explained Michele before, we have supported pilots that has been that has entered the project via open calls. And on the right side of the slide, you will see that we have this pool of experts and resources. This has been done via validation process. We run different calls of expression of interest for HPC and cloud providers. And between all of our candidates, we have selected those that fulfill the requirements, and these are included in this matchmaking tool to facilitate the recommendations for pilots to use one type of hardware provision or another. I would like to clarify that in the context of Stairway, this is only a type of suggestion tool for them, that the matchmaking between the company and the HPC and cloud provider should be that the matchmaking, sorry. The establishment of the conditions for working together are done separately on the project. And between all of these HPC and cloud providers, we have several coming from the EDI Federation. And this open call for external providers is still open until May this year. So if you have interest, you still can still join. So these are the list of the different providers. As you can see, they are distributed in all of Europe. And as I told you, if you have interest, you can become one of them. So just as a summary, if you have interest because you are a company using or developing AI technologies and need computing and data services, you can contact us. If you are a cloud provider company and want to become a validated Stairway provider or join the EDI Federation to also work in other type of projects, of course you can do it. And if you are a DIH and want to establish some type of collaboration framework with EDI to facilitate computing services for AI to your community, also we are open. We are still trying to understand what is going to be the role of the hardware providers in the upcoming AI for Europe and AI on demand platform. It's still under discussion how will be the best way to engage with these hardware providers, not only because we as EDI, we can talk about the EDI Federation that is mainly composed by public providers in Europe, but also we should consider that there are many private providers in Europe. And with this, I would like to finalize and thank you very much. And if you have any doubt, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa, for the presentation. I know that now it's clear, how to get involved in being part of this HPC providers list and also benefit from the different services that the EGI Foundation is offering. So now we are moving to the next speaker, that is Miguel de Prado, that will be presenting us the bonsai marketplace and how can DIHs benefit from it. Miguel is a senior researcher in new projects such as Bonsaps and also Stairway on artificial intelligence in embedded systems. And he was working at the DFKEI, the German Center for Artificial Intelligence, developing wearable solutions, acoustic processing, and reproduction and manipulation, and has a PhD from the University of Zurich. So Miguel, the floor is yours now.
Thanks a lot for the introduction. Do you see my slides?
Yes, we can see them.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So I will just try to give a little bit of a small introduction about deep learning on the edge. So this fits quite well with the previous talks, since they were focusing a little bit more of the matchmaking, specifically on the cloud. Now I can introduce a little bit the deep learning on the edge, and then what Bonsai offers as an AI value chain across these different points. So we see that many key emerging applications such as automotive, healthcare, finance, telecommunications, security, and robotics are succeeding a little bit by using deep learning or artificial intelligence in general. Most of these applications back in the day or even now, they are using cloud computing, even though they are pushing the data from the very edge near the sensors to the big centers. This is somehow energy expensive. It produces low latency because there's a lot of communication, and it also offers unreliable transmissions because the data that at some points it may be important for some people, it's at stake. So what we offer in this case is to produce or to use edge computing, which means that we are processing the data directly on the edge. We are not sending the data itself to the cloud. We might just send the results if they are useful, for example, to collect them for some further processing. This is much more energy efficient. It's also real time, and it's more secure. So the way it works is that we have all these centralized and monolithic providers like Google, Facebook, and Baidu. What we're trying to do is to decentralize the compute and distribute it across the different sensors and networks. So as we go down this scale, what we see is that the power consumption and the latency decreases, but we have a little bit more of a complexity and cost because all these sensors and devices are very heterogeneous. So here's where Bonsai comes in to provide tools and workflows to be able to deploy this new artificial intelligence on these small devices and sensors. And how we do that? So the idea is that we seek for collaboration because this AI value chain is quite complex. We need a lot of data, we need knowledge to train the algorithms, and also deployment tools to be able to deploy the final solutions on embedded devices. So by having a different collaboration between the researchers, excellence centers, and the SMEs and the corporates, we can fulfill this across the value chain. We have multiple use cases or verticals for healthcare, automotive, manufacturing, and robotics. And what we offer at Bonsai, specifically Bonsai, is a modular services such as experimentation, data reuse, optimization, and deployment of hardware and security. And we're trying to offer these services so that we can increase the reusage among enterprises and SMEs so they can accelerate the deployment of their solution to embedded devices. So just to connect it a little bit with the previous talks, we are offering those solutions that are deployed on the edge and that can also be match-made with the different stakeholders. We see different actors in this AI value chain. We see the innovator, that's the one that is creating the challenge. We see the data scientist, that's usually that person or people that are solving the challenge by training a neural network or some artificial intelligence solution. We see developers who's trying to accelerate or optimize the model that's being produced by the scientist and deploys it on an embedded device. And finally, the integrator, that is the one that is actually collecting several applications and integrating it in the final system. So in Bonsai, we have this complete system or program through the open calls, and it's backed up with different milestones, and we follow those processes with the experts that are also provided by Funding Box. And finally, this all goes to the marketplace, the different services, and at the bottom, the AI on-demand platforms, of course. So I would like to show you a little bit what the marketplace is as a final sort of platform where people can come, create challenges, look for some research, platforms and solutions. So at the moment we have around 20 challenges have been published. 10 of those were from the open call one, they are solved already, and then 10 for the second open call, which is in the ongoing at the moment. We have a lot of research, which is open research, data sets, codes, and models that people can go and search, so they can sort of try to see if this can be applied for their own problem. We have different platforms, applications, and solutions. But I think better than just showing you on this slide, I can open this page, which is the actual marketplace. It's still ongoing. It's in beta version at the moment, but it already works and has some of the features already available. So this is the landing page. This is my profile where I can see the different things that I have. For example, if I have bookmarked some research, is here, appears here. And also if I publish something, it would appear here. In this case, I didn't publish anything. And you can see also the different data sets, challenges, or things that I purchased. So the way it works is that we have different verticals. We have the challenges. There's those things, those problems that people can publish to solve a problem. So here we have different challenges. For example, if we go to gaze, we see that some SMEs were having they would like to have some solutions for gaze estimation in this case. So we have a little bit of an introduction about what is the SME wants to do. In this case, gaze estimation wants to reveal where the person is looking at. And this is very useful, for example, for automotive, because when you're in the car seat, you would like to know, or the car would like to know if you're looking on the road or if you're looking aside and you're a bit distracted. So here you can describe an overview of this use case and also a bit more technical description about how it should look like so that it can be taken by an SME, by an AI talent, which is an expert to solve the challenge. Just to have an overview, this is the people, for example, that joined the challenge. It was solved during the first open call, the maturity, the sort of task that it involves, the learning problem, and if it is supervised or not, or it's unsupervised. Also produces a little bit of a diagram, a little bit more technical, how this system looks like. So it's useful that the SME or the person that is trying to that's publishing the challenges try to give as much as more information so that other experts can solve these challenges down the AI value chain. So the idea is that once they publish the challenge is published, then some experts can try to solve it. So in this case, we can go to the community and look for the research that is available to try to solve these challenges. This at some point could be very well connected to the matchmaking tools, so that just by clicking some keywords, we can be directly seeing things that are similar or that are useful for them to solve these challenges. So here it is classified in different sort of tasks like image classification, object detection, semantic segmentation, real-time object detection. We also have data sets, so that might be interesting. So the idea is that we don't host any data, but we can search for some data set that are available on the internet. And then by clicking that, we come to this data set, we see an overview of that. And then in case we're interested to acquire or to access this data, we just request access, and that goes directly to the host of the data, not ourselves. But the idea is that you can search quickly about different data sets, for example, that you can be interested in. We also have a community of people that have joined the marketplace at the moment. Most of the people come from the different open calls, AI talents and SMEs. And of course, we have different documentations about the different workflows that we support and both the users and the developers to try to complete this AI value chain from the challenge to the AI application. Finally, the idea is that once we have solved some of the challenges, we can publish in the marketplace some built solutions. So for this, we have AI applications. We have some examples here, like for example, face detection for the Jetson Xavier. This is an embedded device. So if we click here, we can see that this application has already been provided, and with some license, you can purchase it or you can access it for free if it is free. We also have some benchmarks that, for example, this specific application was obtaining when deployed on this specific embedded device. And again, this connects very well with the vertical matchmaking that Michele was explaining before. As for some reasons, if I'm going to buy an AI application for my use case, I don't know if it's going to be fast enough or it's going to take more memory than it should. So by having all these benchmarks available, also connected to the matchmaking, then I can easily know if this is going to be useful for me or not. And again, we have platforms across different sort of ranges, like embedded devices, servers, mobile, and desktop. And the idea is that we can quickly set up an embedded device or a server and then deploy there, test it ourselves, and see if it is useful for us or not to go this direction or not. I can go way more in depth on this, but I think it's already over time, so I will leave it here. The idea is that we can try to reuse as much as possible the different solutions that are being provided, and we can access that through the marketplace. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Miguel. I think it was very nice, to see how it really works, the platform. So thank you very much for this introduction. So now we are moving to the use case examples. So SMEs that participated in the funding opportunities for Stairway and Bonsaps, and they will be showing us how they did it in their SMEs. So first we have Gil Machado, who is Technical Director of Chrono Survey. He's currently the Technical Director, and just for you to know that Chrono Surveys is a geological consulting company where they works mostly with micropaleontology and other stratigraphy disciplines in commercial and academic projects worldwide. For instance, in Brazil, Angola, Oman, Mozambique, Morocco, and Portugal. And as part of the company policy, he's involved in the development of the research project that allowed the technology transfer to industry. And he will be presenting us the example of Stairway. So, Gil, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, Thank you. So apologies in advance. I have a noisy neighbor today, so if you hear some background noise, please ignore it. So yes, here at Chronosurveys, we developed several research projects, and artificial intelligence is something, not just a hot topic, but something that we see with a lot of potential for our area. So in a nutshell, what we do is, as a regular workflow, we process rock samples to obtain a slide with microfossils. Then we analyze those microfossils, so the contents of those rocks under a microscope. And then we identify different types of particles, species, and with that we determine the sedimentation age in millions of years and where that rock was deposited, if it was in a lake, beach, open sea, and so forth. The challenge is that this type of analysis is quite laborious, so we can take several hours per sample, and projects typically have dozens of samples, so this is really weeks or months-long projects typically. It's also important that analysis is difficult to reproduce, so we can photograph under the microscope each particle, for example, but we don't have the whole image of the slide. Of course, there are some biases that can be introduced depending on the user, and especially if there are more than one user analyzing the samples. There's not that many specialists around. Usually they need a master's or a PhD in that specific areas. So it's also a matter of finding the right specialists to work on the samples. One part of the solution is the digitalization even before artificial intelligence, and that this was the first part of our project within Stairway to obtain this, purchase this scanner, and we already reduced the analysis time from several hours to minutes. So basically, it's the time that the scanner takes to scan the whole slide, and we obtain an image that we can then see on a computer screen. So it has already a high impact on efficiency and consistency. And this is just an example of how we can scan up to 6 slides at a time, leave it overnight if we want to, and then we obtain this image. So just to show quickly how this works, then this is the visualization tool. We can zoom in into individual particles, and then we can label them. These labels are then listed here, and whenever we need to go back to the sample, we can just open the image and click, and we'll be transported to each of these images. So this is now part of our standard workflow. It's routine, it's in TRL9, and already we feel that the advantage of using this in our workflow. Of course, we wanted to go further than this, so use this technical capability of having digitized slides to apply artificial intelligence algorithms and models and see how that can further help in our work. So we created together with experts that were working with us this graphical interface. We defined several classes of these particles that we want the algorithm to be able to identify. We had a lot of work on the training data set, and that's actually still ongoing because we want to improve the training data sets. And that annotation of the slides then becomes the input for the AI model. So this is just an example of how this interface works. So we have the several particles. We draw polygons around them, or this is done more or less automatically. And then the several classes that were identified, we color code them, and they are then annotated by the expert. And this is how we build the training data sets. Then the AI part, and this is again a short video just showing how this works. We load the images, the scanned images, into this web interface. We can label them so that the slides have some kind of metadata that then helps us to organize the data. And then we convert it to a format which is readable. Let me just put this forward. The user doesn't really see the coding behind it. It can, if it wants to see the coding, but usually it just sees the interface. So, sorry, once this is done, the slides is loaded. We can click on it. We have a first view of the whole slide, and then we can click in more detail, and we can see some statistics which are based on the identification of different types of particles. So this is the prototype that we currently have. Again, the user won't see the coding going on in the background, but then it identifies several types of particles. Let me just put this forward. Here they are. and then we can highlight them and see more detail. We can do the QC, so to make sure that the algorithm is working properly, and then we can have all sorts of statistics and plotting in different graphical ways then to include in reports or scientific articles as we want. So we're quite happy with the results. It was neat to have in 6 months something that went from TRL 3 or even less than that. It was just an idea to have a full-on digitalization of our workflow. So that's in TRL 9.
I don't know if it's me, but I don't hear Gil anymore.
Me neither.
And
Okay.
we are now adding additional features for the interface, and we're now starting to contact our clients to start.
Gil, I think you have some connection problems because we couldn't hear your last presentation.
Sorry for that. No, it's just the summary. You can read it. It's just that we're now maturing the prototype and starting to commercialize it, to market it with clients. Thank you.
Okay, maybe if I may, because I'm curious to know in which type of application you use it. I mean, what type of work does your company do? I'm really curious to know.
So that's up in the first slide. So we're geological consulting company, and this is basically what we do. We work with biostratigraphy, meaning that we look at microfossils contained in rocks, and we obtain information about the rocks that contain them. So two main things: sedimentation age, so when this rock was formed in millions of years, and where it was formed. So if it was formed in a lake, in an open sea, beach deposit, or where was it? And this has applications to many industries, mostly the ones that work with subsurface data. Mining industry, now recently energy storage in geological reservoirs, for example, carbon sequestration. So many different industries use this type of data, and those are basically our clients.
Okay, thank you very much for this information. It's very interesting.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I have some questions later for you as well, but maybe we can now move to Carlos González Val, who is co-founder of Logic Melt. He's electronic engineer specialized in artificial intelligence and vision, and is currently working on R&D projects on embedded vision and AI applied to process monitoring, product design, and quality control. And he will be sharing the experience in Bonsap. So the floor is yours, Carlos.
Very much. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see it and we can hear you.
Okay. So, well, hello everyone. My name is Carlos González, and I work in Logic Melt. In Logic Melt, we are a startup company that we're based in the northwest of Spain. And we are basically experts in two technologies: edge computing and artificial intelligence. Since Miguel already explained what edge computing is, I won't repeat myself. And you all know artificial intelligence by now. So what we do with these two technologies is basically create artificial intelligence algorithms on demand to our clients. We put them in a box that is the edge computer, and we place the box somewhere, like in a factory, in a boat, in a mine, wherever is needed. And basically, this is our expertise. And as Miguel told you, we believe that the future of artificial intelligence is edge computing, because in that way, we are placing the algorithms and the training process just where the data is. So you have a better use of resources, more efficiency. And we have like a bunch of solutions that we implement in these edge devices or boxes. Many of them focus on the manufacturing, food sectors, and also with a lot that are focused more on signal analysis and vibrations. And we have been very active, both in Bonsaps and Starway. We are registered in these projects as technology providers. So we basically help other companies to develop their solutions. And since the beginning of the startup, so to say, we have been active in both Bonsaps and Starway, collaborating in both the first and the second open call of Bonsaps and I think it was the first open call of Starway. I will go very quickly over the projects we have done, but I don't have any time to go into detail. So if you have any questions, please just write them down and I will answer afterwards. So in the first Bonsaps open call, we work on the 6 degrees of freedom object detection challenge. And basically, you all know the object detection algorithms that are commonly used in artificial intelligence that just draw a small box where the object is detected, and that object can be a person, a traffic signal, a dog, whatever. So the 6 degrees of detection tries to go a step further and tries to detect the object in 3D within the image. So you can use that information for control tasks like having a robot pick up the piece or estimating the distance to it, the orientation, and so on. This is a very recurrent challenge in many industries, so it's quite important. And in Bonsaps, we did develop the algorithms and the implementation in the edge to solve this challenge. And you can see some of the examples we did with our algorithm. Basically, we built a state-of-the-art model to solve the challenge, and we implemented it in an edge device, so we could deploy it in any facility or location. Regarding the Starway project, we participated as technology providers and AI experts with the company Adronap Technologies, working on the Stratos DS projects. And these projects came out of from a science fiction movie, really. Basically, what Adronap is trying to do, it's to predict the temperature and the status of the stratosphere just using particle detectors in the ground. So this is hard to explain, but basically when the cosmic ray comes from the space, it interacts with the atmosphere and reaches the ground. And in the ground, you can read some information about it. And we wanted to study if we could use that information to check how the stratosphere states are, what are temperature, the densities, and use that information for weather prediction. And in here, we collaborate with Adronap to develop a pipeline using the simulated data from a physics particle simulator and feed that data into machine learning algorithms. And the results were quite good. We discovered that we could actually use that information to predict the temperature at different layers of the atmosphere with an error of 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. The higher you go in the atmosphere, the larger the error, but the results were very, very good. And right now, we are still collaborating with Adronap to take this algorithms and this technology to the actual use case and work with real detectors instead of simulated data. And finally, we also have been participants of the Bonsaps second open call, where we are collaborating with Sonicat Systems, that it's a food service provider that specializes in honey and honey analysis. And with them, we're working on constructing a particle detector applied to honey. So basically, we want to identify the type of pollens and type of particles that are present in honey samples, so we can integrate that algorithms in an edge device and place it in the hands of the apiculture. Well, we actually have started this project like 3 weeks ago, so I don't have any results yet, but we're very enthusiastic and hopeful that we will get some nice things out of it. And well, this is all. We're very thankful to funding both Bones Apps, Starway, and all of these programs, because they have helped us a lot from the beginning of the company to build solutions and get in touch with use cases from the real world and get a lot of connections there. So I just wanted to say that these have been awesome opportunities for us, and we're just very helpful to you.
Thank you, Carlos. Looks very, very interesting, and also a bit sci-fi, as you mentioned in your presentation. So, Carlos, now that you are still here with the camera, I wanted to ask you, besides the funding, that of course at the end of the day is something important for the SMEs, what you value the most of participating in these Bones Apps and Stairway projects?
For me, the most valuable thing is to get in touch with the use cases and the companies that do the actual solutions. I just want to notice, for example, the sci-fi projects, which is one of my favorites. This company, it's actually based like 10 minutes away from where we are. And we haven't met before. We didn't know that they existed. And we got in touch through the Starway community. And, we collaborated through all the Starway Open Call. We're still collaborating now, just after the Open Call. And we do hope that we'll have a lot of projects in the future, because they do very interesting technology, and so do us. And we are like a very good match for us. Okay.
Thank you very much. And maybe, yeah, Gil, if I can also ask you about your experience in participating in a Stairway. I know maybe as far as I understood from your presentation, you were able also to raise your TRL levels quite, successfully. So I don't know, maybe what will be your recommendations for those SMEs that are still thinking about the participation in this type of opportunities?
Well, in general, I would say go for it, because I think artificial intelligence, as soon as you start reading about it, you understand the potential it has for basically anything we do nowadays. And yeah, I think Stairway was a great opportunity to start. Then, of course, we need to mature this further. But for us, it was really a fundamental change in the way we work. So I definitely advise any company that has ever thought of that, or if they haven't even, but have a look, try to read a bit about artificial intelligence in their fields, what has been done already, and what can be the applications. Then specifically, of course, you need to know exactly the details of each call, and be sure that you qualify basically. And that's also should be important, the way you build your application. But then otherwise, I think it was very useful. The networking part, the funding, of course, was important, but the networking was also important. So the experts that helped us during the project are the ones that we are now continuing to work with, and we expect to continue to work with them in a closer partnership. So that part was also very important, to be within the network of experts and artificial intelligence and know what's going on. So I think those were the most important topics in our experience.
Thank you very much for your experience. So I have also one question for the other speakers. First, Suzanne, I have one question. And, maybe if we always say that we see DIHs, as one of the main helper or supporter for the SMEs to facilitate the uptake to digital technology solution and so on. But maybe if DIHs are not really sure how they can make use of the AI on demand platform, what would you recommend them? I mean, what would be the first step for a DIH that want to start using the resources and tools that are available on the AI on demand platform?
Well, the point for me is I perfectly understand if they are going on the platform for the moment, they will be lost. Or at least will be confused on what they can use. That's why we are working currently on a train the trainer program, that we would really then help them and say, okay, you can contact an expert, you can go through a webinar, or we will redirect you, especially identifying what are the areas that they are interested in. Is it the matchmaking? Is it to become an expert? Is it really to say, okay, we need a trust, we are really focusing on trustworthy AI, on fair data? Do we need data sets? Do we need something? Can we get via the platform also access to other communities or something like that? So I think that the point is here that we are working on this train the trainer program, because I completely agree. If a DIH is going on the platform for the moment, he's lost, because he cannot find what he's needing for his clients.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And this leads me to the next question for Michele, that maybe, you know, if we think on those DIHs that are perhaps, you know, now initiating themselves in the use of the AI on demand platform, I was wondering whether this matchmaking tool that you are building in a Stairway could be, you know, a way to initiate themselves, at least, you know, to have some suggestions on the trainings or expert of the resources that could be used for their SMEs. I wanted to know if this is a little bit how this could be used.
So yes, I think so. Yeah, are you thinking about the training resources or about finding experts and consultants?
Well, I'm mostly thinking about the matchmaking platform, because you said it suggests you not only the resources or the tools.
Yes,
or solutions,
the basic answer is yes. In principle, yes. I say we're currently mostly testing it with use cases and experts, and also software libraries. But as you understood more or less how the approach works, it's really just a textual query and a textual resource, text resource. So it's really, it can be extended to other resources. So once we secure a better connection to the current AI on demand platform, we will want to have a bigger collection of software libraries, and also to add courses into the mix. So
Okay.
it could definitely be used for training.
Okay. Thank you very much. And now a question for Miguel about your marketplace, because I was very interested, you know, to see that you first have these challenges, that from the challenges you can then move, you know, to the type of solutions that could be suitable for this. And I was wondering, you know, maybe for instance, for those DIHs that are looking for examples of SMEs that have been using, you know, your technology or the different resources that are available, if the examples can be also found easily. For instance, imagine I'm a DIH, I'm looking, I have companies from the automotive sector, and I want to take a look to what is cooking, you know, in the marketplace. Is this
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
all the challenges that we are solving, they're published already for the OpenCall 1, and the ones for the OpenCall 2, they will be published in the next months. So the idea is that we offer this sort of visibility to see what's going on as well, what's the challenge and who solved it, and then finally what's the solution out of it, so that it can also guide some more SMEs to try similar things in a way.
Okay, thank you very much. And Elisa, I have also a question for you, because I was very interested in your presentation, because you are also EGA is also a DIH. So maybe you can explain a little bit how your DIH is using, you know, the information from Stairway, and also maybe these HPC resources that you have available, and so on, for the support of the SMEs. If you could explain us a little bit.
Yeah, well, from our perspective, it's also interesting to understand better what are the needs of the companies, so that from all of the applications that we have received for running the pilots, we will assess also how many of them are already knowledge and experience working with infrastructure, if they have already some type of infrastructure available, or if they are demanding some computing resources. So that is also available information from us from the demand perspective of the services. And well, also we will be happy to understand that there's the satisfaction of the companies when using their resources at the end of the project. That will be something quite relevant. And well, there are some other inputs that we could obtain from the perspective of the project that could be beneficial. I think that's also added value that we can offer as intermediator of between the providers and the users is guaranteeing these service level agreements and conditions for the use of resources that in some way is externalized. And we would like to understand how has been the experience of this process between the companies and between the companies as users and the providers. So yeah, a lot of information to explore, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to thank you all the speakers for your excellent presentations. I think they were very enlightening, and really hope you a lot of success in your endeavors within the different projects that you manage. And to the audience, thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next webinar on the 18th of April. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks a lot.